Hi, my name is Rudy Hartmann. I'm doing a project called 21 Laws, 21 Days based on 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Follow them and people will follow you by John C. Maxwell. I'm doing this for my University of South Florida Survey of Leadership Readings class, spring of 2014. Now, before I go into how this project is going to be laid out in this introduction video, I want to point out six imperative things that John Maxwell actually points out at the beginning of his book. Two that were added to this 10th anniversary edition, and four that were actually at the very first edition as well. Now, these first two that were added were very simple. The first is this: leaders must do more than one thing well. You cannot sit on one of these laws, you cannot sit on one of these principles of leadership that he's going to talk about and simply say, that's my foundation of leadership. That's it, just the one. No, leaders must do more than one thing well. That's the first one. The second one is this: no one does all 21 laws well. You can let that pressure just fall off your shoulders as it did mine when I read that in the book. No one does all 21 laws well. You don't have to feel the pressure to be the perfect leader and do everything out of this. No, John is saying, Mr. Maxwell is saying, I apologize, that he wants you to pick up separate principles from this, but not everyone is going to be good at each and every single law. And that should free us, but should also give us a sense of vigor in that we can learn the laws that work for us best. Those are the two things that were added. Now, the four original points are these. First, the laws can be learned. Thank God that the laws can be learned, and it's not about an innate ability to lead. These laws can be adapted and can be mastered to the context in which you and in which I lead. Second, the laws can stand alone. They don't have to all be in this congruent, like you do law 1, then law 2, then law 3, then law 4, then law 5, then law 6, similar to the 7 Principles of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. No. These can be worked out separately. These can be worked out individually, but they should be worked out with a couple of them being your source and your foundation of leadership. That being said, these laws are the foundation of leadership. But what Mr. Maxwell points out when he says that is this: they cannot be simply theoretical. They have to be applied to be effective. This is not information for us to sit on. It's revelation for us to work out of and work through. Finally, the laws carry consequences. If we just sit on these as information, we may become very cynical in our leadership. I know more about you than leadership, perhaps. I could say, if I had all this information, but I wasn't actually applying these theories to my life, the consequence is this: I'm not as good of a leader as I could be. I'm not allowing myself to be as good of a leader as I could be. That is a dangerous place, and a place that I hope to avoid, and a place that I hope we don't ever go towards. So to recap those 6, more than one thing well done a leader must do. Second is this: no one's good at all 21 laws. The third one is this: these laws can be learned. The fourth one is this: the laws can stand alone. The fifth is this: these laws are the foundation of leadership. And the sixth is that these laws have consequences. Now, I say all that to introduce this book. I say all that for this introduction, and then to also hit on my personal criticism and highlights of how this book was formatted and written, just to get these out of the way and addressed from the very beginning so you can see from where I am interpreting and where I am teaching from this book. As far as criticisms, solid content. Solid content. You really can't get around the fact that John Maxwell is very good at leadership and knows his stuff. But I'm scared of one word. I'm scared of one word, and that word is irrefutable. I am scared to think that I could say that this law of leadership is irrefutable, that it could not possibly be replaced, it could not possibly be incorrect, it could not possibly not be effective. It's difficult for me to be comfortable with that word, irrefutable. It may be a semantics thing, but it is a criticism that I have in regards to the book, that it is considered irrefutable. As far as highlights, I love how this book is formatted and written for 2 reasons. The first is because John Maxwell draws simplicity from complexity. These ideas about humans and about leadership and about these laws that connect these 2 ecological systems of leadership and humans together are very complex for the simple fact that leadership in humans are very complex. Therefore, when you put the two together, you have double complexity. It's very complex. But John Maxwell takes these 21 laws of leadership and he makes it a very simple process. He makes them simple for us to understand. For us to read this book and to glimpse and to learn from what these principles are actually saying and how they can be applied in our lives and in our opportunities to lead. He takes simplicity from complexity and makes this a book that is not for leadership aficionados, not for scholars, not for just anyone who has some sort of higher level degree and is going to teach you. No. This is for anyone in any context. It's a beautiful thing about this book. These are laws of leadership that are considered irrefutable in any context. That allows us to see how he takes simplicity from complexity. But it's also the ease of consumption due to the format of these 21 laws. The ease of consumption due to the format of these 21 laws. The adage goes like this: you can only eat an elephant a bite at a time. A bite at a time. This is an enormous book, an enormous resource filled with a wealth of knowledge. How can I sit there and expect to read through 5 or 6 of these laws in one day and understand really everything about it? No. The idea is that you take them a law at a time and you apply them a law at a time. And that's a perfect transition for this. And content, as far as highlights from the content, will be mentioned in each video. Highlights from the content that ties into course content for the Survey of Leadership Readings class will be tied into the videos as well, even as I just did with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But as we go through this study, as we look at this, will be how I'll be presenting for the remainder of this project. 21 days, 21 laws. That's the project. 21 days, 21 laws. Over the span of 21 days, 21 different videos will be created for those 21 days, 1 per day, 1 law per day. It's a month-long program. In the first 3 weeks, you'll be doing 5 videos a week, giving you 2 off days. In the final week, you'll be getting 6 videos in that week, giving you 1 off day. And over the span of a month, you have the opportunity to be able to learn and to digest and to go through each of these 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Like he says, follow them and people will follow you. So I hope you stick around with me for this journey. I hope you stick around with me as we go through this. We're going to create these videos. We're going to go through them, and we're going to take a couple minutes every day just to go over the law, what it says, the main points, and how we can apply it. Very simple. The law, what it says, the main points, and how we can apply it so we have an accurate understanding of what this book is saying and how we can apply it to our leadership. So, can't wait to get started with you guys. Thanks for watching the introduction video. Feel free to go on to day 1.